An improvised bracket on which you could hang something.
Oh, thank you. Have you seen Helga? Helga? Helga! Where are you?
A pile of wood? Or is it actually a pyre? All right.
И зачем я это делаю?
A bowl. Hello? I am Tung.
Have you seen Helga?
No, we haven't. If you don't mind me asking,
Call me Ensign and drop the pleasantries.
if I may,
Helga?
I...
Helga is my wife. Didn't I mention that? We came here together, but then the orcs came and
You have a dark notion of what might have happened to Helga, but as you have no proof, you'd rather...
I wanted to thank you. Your grenade...
Grenades? Oh, yeah, no problem. I used them to break up boulders, but I ended up attracting these pests. And as if that weren't bad enough, along came the orcs and took my ox skull. Gosh! And Helga, where is Helga?
What brings you to these parts, Ensign? It's not exactly the...
Aren't you here for the festival? The unbelievable Wackenstein Festival. The blind guardian, the statue over there, is the key. He calls people from far...
Do you know anything about...
Secret passage? No, can't say I do.
So what have you found out about...
You see that statue? That's the blind guardian. You could call him the, According to my research, we need 3 things to start the festival. A burning ox skull, the 4...
It should be easy to find an ox's skull. All we have to do is find a butcher.
Oh, can't just be...
Is it this one here?
Stone that crows you already have.
And what do we do with it?
Oh, well, that's simple. The ox skull...
Where will we find the... Fire Eater Bell?
Varinciensis. I tracked you down to a collector who lives outside the city in an estate on the south wall. The tower called Fire. The bell...
Varinciensis. So what are we waiting for? We'll visit the collector and...
It would be best if you went without me.
Vervain, doesn't that grow in Ergon? It's a hell of a long way from...
Ha! Don't worry. I have a bag,
You lost it?
well, lost. I mean, briefly.
To begin the...
Exactly.
You're quite sure you're wasting your time. A huge...
See you later.
Let me know.
Так. Мгм. С ним никак нельзя взаимодействовать. Взять мешок.
Ah, that must be Henson's bag of herbs. Something's not quite...
Наверняка последовательность должна быть какая-то определенная. Понял. Но мы фестиваль пройдем, посмотрим и тому подобное.
The old ruin.
Так. Ладно.
She followed Boindle into battle.
Bavrigor drinks from his liquor. You remain sitting in silence.
Sometimes he calls her name in his dream.
Давайте сохранимся. Я что-то туда-сюда бегаю. Только теряю ресурсы.
The old...
Меня просто колокол мучает по-настоящему. То бишь здесь есть. А колокол где?
Henson,
Have you found Elga?
to begin the...
Exactly. Then
You're quite sure you're wasting your time. A huge festival in the middle of nowhere. But you pin your hopes on there being...
To begin the festival, we need the ox skull, the fire eater bell, and the vervain, right?
You're quite...
See you later.
Let me...
Где колокол взять? Не знаю. Так, по принципу. Вон куда мне нужно. Ранений нет. Это хорошо. Но по 9
The
единиц
size
еды.
of the fields and the farmsteads grow as you get closer to...
The house that Henson was talking about must be somewhere on the south wall. We need the bell if we're going to open the path through the mountains.
You try to gain access to the city, but you try not to show your disappointment. But Boindle looks at you curiously.
Is a house full of dusty books really that important, scholar? That's no...
There are also books by dwarves and about dwarves in that archive. They've practically got everything that is...
A book about dwarves? That really can't be any...
You follow the street to an estate on the south wall, which is the man gives you a fleeting glance.
We don't want to buy anything.
You put your foot in the crack of the door.
Wait, you have a rare bell in there.
The man pauses.
Fire eater? How?
Before he can finish what he's saying, a red-haired woman pushes past him. She is also wearing expensive clothes. She scrutinizes you with greenish-blue eyes.
How do you know about that, Shorty? In the city! The city whose gates are closed to everyone. Of course, I believe that.
You go back to the rest of the group. Rodario follows the hydrangea-lined path to the door.
What can I do for you? Are you...
The name is Rodario. You're wonderful.
You are a real charmer, Mr. Rodario.
Oh no, by no means, my love. I just can't avoid it when I see...
Oh, don't play with my feelings, Mr. Rodario. You probably haven't even noticed the color of my eyes.
She playfully...
А фиг его знает какой.
Of course.
I think you better go.
It...
You go... She looks at you.
800 gold pieces.
That really is too expensive.
Before you know it, the door... You go back to the rest... You go back... She looks at you angrily.
I'm sorry, but... that...
Before... You go... She...
that...
You go... She...
that...
You go... She...
that...
You go back... She...
Ладно.
Hello?
Have you been duped? It dawns on you that you have... The door opens again. The man of the house pushes out a wheelbarrow containing a large object inside a sack.
May Fire Eater bring you great pleasure.
The man dumps the bell on the floor with a muffled bong.
Печально, печально. Можно было бы и договориться.
The old ruin...
Но нет, так нет. Единственное, что меня печалит, что у меня 70 еды.
Fits like a glove.
Теперь нужна последовательность какая-то. Так, ничего не произошло. Значит, сначала колокол. Потом сюда. Травы. Значит, сначала травы. Нет, да?
Something's not quite right.
Ну и осталось вот поджечь горы вечерев сначала. Потом ударить по колоколу. Потом бросить травы. Хорошо.
Loud and powerful music follows the fog and the figures, crushing over your head in roaring waves. The force of the music clouds your senses, and it seems as if you want to draw your companion's attention to it, but then you suddenly realize that you have a tankard of ale in your hand. You instinctively try it, and are happy to note that you haven't drunk such good ale since Ogre's death. The night becomes a colourful whirl of ale, music, dance and ecstasy. You can no longer remember why you're here or who you're celebrating with. For a few hours you forget what was and what is to come. You are completely in the here and now. You wake up the next morning. You're lying on your back and staring into a sky that is much too bright. You turn onto your side with difficulty and see your companions all around you, but no one else. The remains of a wild party. Campfires, tents, and ale tankards are still there, but the magic has gone. You stand up, muttering curses, and try to suppress the taste in your mouth and the pain in your head. To your great surprise, you see that the stony figure of the blind guardian has revealed a tunnel that leads into the rock of the mountain.
Прикольно. Прикольно. Так, раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть. 6 дней. Так, давайте сохранимся. Может, в таверне будет немного еды.
You enter the... You go...
Нет ничего.
You know... Bavrig...
Ничего нету. Жаль. Вот кто бы сказал, припасов не хватает, а?
If we go on now, we probably can't come back. The mechanism looks like it will close the pass behind.
Так.
While you rest under a ledge at noon, Rodario and Fergus decide to go ice fishing.
Like in a marriage, you mean? At first, the woman entices you.
The good life.
All slut.
He reminds me of a billy goat we used to have.
Your path leads you over a snowy, hilly plain, and as you scale a particularly steep hill, you attach a rope to a huge rock and abseil down. You light torches and look around. You take a short rest before you begin the climb. As you don't have any mountain climbing equipment with you, the climb is difficult and time. You finally arrive at the entrance to a valley that curves its way towards Ironhald.
По нулям. Провизия.
By
By Vracus, we've done it! Get down!
Up there!
Run! I can't maintain the spell for long!
Put him on Goimgar's shield. To the gate. Quick!
As you approach the first gate, you see guards on the battlements. You call as you run.
By Vracus, we are dwarves of the kingdoms of the secondlings and the fourthlings. Open the gate!
Their leader gives orders that you cannot hear, but moments later, the gate opens up for you.
Report back! Man the walls and the defences!
The guards follow the orders immediately.
Who are you that lead the Alpha to our door?
How dare you speak to us like that? Dwarf who seems to have no name?
Boindale steps forward before you can stop him.
I am Boindale Doubleblade, a child of the smith of Barrowan folk. And that is my brother Boindale, who needs a healer immediately.
The commander pulls down his scarf, and his face leaves you speechless.
Only a dwarf could make such a fuss. Ballinder Steelfinger. I protect the main gate of the firstlings, therefore it is my duty to regard all guests precisely before I invite them in.
But you are a woman!
You have a keen eye, Boindale Doubleblade.
The tender features and soft fluff leave no room for doubt. A female dwarf is the commander of the guard. She gives orders for the injured Boindale to be taken care of. 4 dwarves pick him up on his shield, and Boindale follows them.
Stay with your brother. I will bring the rest of you to Queen Zamtis, where you can explain what you're doing here.
Come closer, and be welcome to the kingdom of the firstlings.
I am Tungdil Goldhand of the Fourthling Kingdom.
You introduce your companions one by one, not forgetting to mention the twins and the Mager too. You then explain the reason for your visit. You report on the advance of the Perish land, the death of the Magi, and the dispute about the next High King. The dark brown eyes of the Queen fix on you for a moment before she speaks.
What you report sounds very serious, Tungdil. You can be sure of the support of the firstlings. How may we assist you?
There is only one way to defeat Nodon. Keenfire. To forge it, we need the best smith your kingdom has to offer. Help us, and thus help your kingdom, my queen.
The Queen considers, then nods.
So be it. Could there ever be a better time to revive the old commonality of the kingdoms? Ballandis here is not only my best warrior, she is also my best smith. She will accompany you.
Your eyes fall upon Ballandis, and you notice the blood rushing to your cheeks.
I will do my best. You can trust in my axe and my hammer.
We must continue on our journey to the Fifthlings in the Grey Range.
Then I will show you the entrance to the tunnels. You will be in the Perish land within a few orbits.
You know the tunnels, but still the Firstlings live in seclusion.
Our isolation was self-imposed. My mother knew that the other kingdoms would not simply accept her as the queen. She wanted to give them time to get used to it.
Your Highness, in the name of the Council of the Kingdoms, I request that you send a delegation to the Blue Range to take part in the discussions. We all have a common enemy.
There has never been any enmity between my kingdom and the others. It was more neglected friendship and habit that has made us strangers to one another. As soon as you set off for the Grey Range, we will head east to see our brothers and sisters again. I will have rooms prepared for you and your companions so that you can rest. It has been some time since we have had guests, but we still know what hospitality means. Come to me when you are ready to depart.
Hello.
What is it, Tundo?
What is it like living with the firstlings? I haven't seen much yet, but many things seem to be different to life with the secondlings in Ogre's Death.
I can't make any real comparisons either. I grew up here and have never left our kingdom. I can hardly wait to see the halls of the fifthlings. They were the best smiths before we took on the mantle.
Don't expect too much. Their halls have been in the hands of the enemy for over 1,000 cycles.
I read that the orcs avoid the stronghold, as if there were a curse on it.
Even reading doesn't seem to be frowned upon among the firstlings. You feel at home here. But that isn't only down to the books.
It would seem...
Is it not common where you come from that men and women share the duties?
Of course. Among the humans and the secondlings, the women help out in the house so that the men have time for their duties.
Here, posts are assigned according to the skills of the applicant, not gender. It's only natural that the most important posts are occupied by women.
She winks at you and gives you a knowing glance, although the whole thing still befuddles you.
See you later.
You guess that this water powers all the machines in the underground city, a masterpiece of engineering. The second dwarf stronghold you have ever seen also impresses you greatly. The firstling stronghold is very different to Ogre's Death.
Ah, Tungdil. I was wondering when you would pay me a visit.
I thank you, Angeroon. You appeared at the right moment. May I, ask why?
It was down to you. Your speech about the responsibility I owe to my realm. Lot Yonan was a good teacher.
Her face darkens when she thinks of her old companion.
There are 100 reasons that Nodon deserves to die. That is why I went back to the secondlings and took another look through the books. I discovered a passage that said Keenfire can only take its effect against evil when it is wielded by a foe of the Undergrounders.
A foe of the Undergrounders? It's going to be difficult to persuade an orc to help us.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I think I might have an answer to the problem. The Alpha are also your foes, aren't they?
What the...
Half human, half elf. My mother bequeathed me her gifts and her weapons. I got very little from my father, but his eyes are an advantage.